Stress is responsible for over 70% of doctors' visits. It's one of the biggest drains on your energy levels and a major contributor to sleep loss and mood problems like depression and anxiety. And stress and anxiety are rampant in today's world, for many reasons I'm sure you're certainly aware of. But here's what you may not know. It turns out that one of the fastest and most powerful ways to get your brain and body out of stress and anxiety isn't to think your way out of it, but to use your breath. Let's discuss. Welcome to episode 94 of Better Brain, Better You. Hello, I'm neuroscientist Dr. Ben Webb, sharing brain advice for a mentally healthy and happy life. How are you doing? Hope you've had a great week, and thanks so much for joining me for today's episode about the transformative effect that breathing can have on your brain and body. So managing uncontrolled stress through relaxation and breathing techniques is essential for good brain health. If you want to discover all of the ingredients of a healthy brain, I've got a free guide for you which lays out the 6 steps you need to take to build a healthy brain. You can get this free brain healthcare plan at ologyonlinecourses.com/brain health. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/brain health. Please do grab this guide. I think you'll find it really helpful. Before we get into how to use breathing to control stress and anxiety, let's talk about what we actually mean by healthy breathing for the brain and body. So healthy breathing begins with breathing through your nose. When you breathe through your nose, you are humidifying air, pressurizing air, filtering the air. By the time it gets to your lungs, it can be more easily absorbed. And you get 20% more oxygen when you breathe through your nose compared to breathing through your mouth. When you breathe through your mouth, you get none of those benefits, and up to 50% of the population habitually mouth breathe. So when you breathe through your mouth, your lungs are actually directly exposed to everything in your external environment. So if you live in a city, when you mouth breathe, your lungs are being exposed to all those allergens and pollutants. So the quickest way to filter out all that horrible stuff is to breathe through your nose. You should try and breathe through your nose as much as you possibly can, especially when you're asleep. So when you breathe through your mouth, you loosen the tissues at the back of your mouth, and this makes you more susceptible to snoring and sleep apnea. So practice breathing through your nose all of the time. It can be difficult to begin with, but the nose is what we call a use it or lose it organ. So the more you practice, the more your nasal airway will adapt and open up, and the easier it will become. So another important aspect of healthy breathing is to slow down your breathing rate. Oxygen can't be absorbed in your airway. Oxygen is absorbed in your lungs, mostly in the lower lobe of your lung, where when you're breathing at 20 breaths per minute, only 50% of that air is going to make it into your lungs and into your bloodstream. So much of that air never makes it past or gets stuck in the airway and never makes it to the lung. So if you breathe 12 times per minute, you're going to bring that air down a little deeper, and you'll be able to use about 70%. But if you breathe 6 times a minute, you can use about 80% of that air. So when you breathe slowly at about 6 to 8 times a minute, you're going to breathe more efficiently and put less strain on your heart because it's beating less, and improve the movement of your diaphragm, the muscle that sits just underneath your lung. So why is changing the way you breathe so important for managing stress and anxiety? Well, breathing can bring calmness into the body and mind. So when you change how you breathe, you can launch your body's relaxation response. And breathing stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows the body to rest and digest, slowing the heart rate, lowering the blood pressure and respiratory rate, and diverting blood supply towards the digestive and reproductive systems. And when the parasympathetic nervous system is active, the sympathetic nervous system becomes less active. They counteract each other. And the sympathetic nervous system raises heart rate, blood pressure and respiratory rate, diverting blood to the brain and skeletal muscles in readiness for fight or flight. So by deactivating or overriding the sympathetic nervous system, we can interrupt the vicious cycle of adrenaline and cortisol, which contribute to chronic stress levels and predispose us to panic attacks and anxiety. So it's possible, therefore, by voluntarily changing the rate, depth and pattern of breathing to actually change the messages being sent from the body's respiratory system to the brain. And of course, the converse is true as well. We can induce a feeling and state of anxiety by simply changing the way we breathe. So if you increase your breathing rate and start breathing really, really quickly, you'll stimulate a sympathetic response and push yourself into an anxious state, and this can induce a panic attack. So in a stress state, you may experience difficulty relaxing during the day and falling asleep at night. After a bad night's sleep, you wake up tired, experience low energy, and may have a bad mood and anxiety. And this can in turn contribute to trouble sleeping. So a vicious cycle exists of stress and bad sleep, which can lead to chronic sleep problems and mental health problems. So breathing calms the brain and body, and that's how you can break this vicious cycle. So if you're stressed and have an agitated mind, you can experience faster and shallower breathing. So for relaxation, you need to breathe slowly, low, and through the nose. Slow down and extend the length of your exhalation. During the exhalation, the vagus nerve kicks in, and this nerve is the one that's responsible for activating your parasympathetic relaxation response. So as I said, the breathing rate is 4 to 6 breaths per minute is optimal to stimulate the vagus nerve. So take a soft breath in and slowly breathe out for an extended period of time for relaxation. Breathe low in your belly using the diaphragm, and simply put your hands on either side of your lower ribs, and as you breathe in, you will feel the ribs gently moving out. As you breathe out, you'll feel them moving in. Breathe slowly and bring your awareness to abdominal breathing to encourage low breathing. Slow exhalation helps combat stress by shifting your attention from the stressful situation to your breathing. So try the following breathing exercise to help the brain to interpret that stressful situation as a safe situation. So first, put your hands on either side of your lower rib. Second, breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Third, breathe out your nose for 6 seconds. And fifth, just continue this until you feel more calm. So how can we use breathing to fall asleep and stay asleep more easily? Well, try practicing slow breathing before you go to bed. Before bed, practice slow breathing for 5 to 10 minutes. Take a very soft, gentle breath in through your nose and allow a relaxed and slow breath out. You shouldn't hear yourself breathing, so take very light and slow breaths. The volume of air you breathe should actually be less than what you normally breathe. This will create a feeling of air hunger, and the goal of this exercise is to feel that you would like to take in a deeper breath. This type of breathing activates the body's relaxation response, plus your mind is less likely to wander while focusing on your breath. So for healthy breathing, your bedroom should be airy, cool and dust-free. Also train to rest your tongue on the top of your mouth. This actually may help prevent sleep apnea, which can disturb your sleep as well. So if you wake up with a moist mouth, you're breathing well for sleep. So I hope I've given you some insight into both the power of your breathing and its potential for calming the brain and body. As I mentioned at the top of the show, managing stress through breathing and relaxation is one of the pillars of brain health included in our free brain healthcare plan, which you can download at ologyonlinecourses.com/brain health. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/brain health. So thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope today's episode was helpful. Take really good care of yourself, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.